The way you think can change everything for you. In fact, billionaires like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos credit certain mental frameworks for a large part of their success. Now, I'm not a billionaire. Quite far from it, to be clear. But some of the mental frameworks I've learned from studying billionaires have changed my life and my business. So imagine a more decisive, confident, and successful version of yourself. The 4 frameworks I'm going to share with you today might help you step into that version of you just a little faster. This first framework can help you make any decision faster and more decisively. Let's say you have to create your own website because you're not yet ready to hire a designer to do it for you. So you stay up until 4 a.m. getting the spacing on your pop-up just right. That couldn't be me. But hey, at least you're saving money, right? Of course, sometimes it's smart to do that. But the problem is, money is often not the only variable we've got to consider. In my example, I was saving money, but I was losing a lot of time. And if you've ever tried to DIY your own website, you know what I'm talking about. The point is not that you need to hire a website designer. The point is, even when it doesn't feel like it, everything costs something. This could either fill you with existential dread about every decision you make. Not my jam. Or you could look at it the way this billionaire, and I don't remember who otherwise I would credit them, said, you can have anything you want in life if you are willing to pay the price for it. Like when you're starting out in your business, your 2 biggest assets are your time and your money. So what are you willing to pay? If you choose your time, that means spending more of it to do the work yourself or wait longer for your results to grow more organically. But if that is not a price you're willing to pay, you can choose to pay with money instead. For example, early in my business, I had about 300 subscribers on my email list, and I knew I needed 700 more to hit a certain sales goal. However, all the strategies I was using up until that point were very time intensive, and I was no longer willing to keep paying that price. That's when I put framework number 1 into practice. I took $2,000, even though I had to take it from my salary at the time, and I put it into Facebook ads so that I could build my email list a little faster. I still paid the price, but just in a different format. You really can have anything you want. First, figure out the price. Then ask yourself, how do I want to pay it? Then pay it. But if you're not willing to pay that price, that's okay too. You just have to be okay with paying that price, not getting the thing that you want. With this framework, it's so much easier to get clear on which goals are worth it and which goals aren't, so that you can make decisions and move forward a lot faster. High five to that. But you can't talk about billionaires without also talking about money. And that's where the second framework comes in. It's been key to helping me personally build a 7-figure business, and I believe it can help you also create massive financial abundance. Now, some super important context. I grew up in a typical Asian immigrant household, which is code for I was taught to be very frugal. So honestly, I thought I had lost it when I ended up investing over $60,000 into my first online business. I had nightmares that my parents were going to disown me if they ever found out. But if I had to go back, I would do it all over again. Because even though this is a significant sum of money, I used it. I learned sales, marketing, copywriting, and so much more. The point is not that you need to spend X amount of money. I do not believe in that super popular unwisdom that you have to put your last dollar into something to prove that you really believe in it. In fact, exactly the opposite. Whenever it is within your control, do not risk your financial stability. For me, I had a job back then. So my thinking was, worst case scenario, I'm just gonna keep on working and eventually make that money back. Plus, I was operating on a framework that I learned from Alexander the Great, because that guy was really, really wealthy. His net worth adjusted for modern day comes to about $30 to $70 trillion. So not technically a billionaire, but I think he'll do. The story supposedly goes, when he was dying, he told his followers to put him in his casket with his arms and legs hanging out. Kind of gross and a little weird, but his reasoning is super interesting. He wanted people to see that no matter how much money you end up making, you can't take any of it with you. So even though it does not come naturally to me because of my upbringing, I always remind myself that yes, money is important, but because of what it can help you do, like take care of your family and help you reach your dreams. In other words, it's important because of the value it can bring, which means when it comes to using your money, you want to think about the value of what you're getting, not just about the cost of what you're paying. That's why I was okay, even though I was still super scared investing in myself through all those courses and coaches, because I knew that if I could learn those skills, the value of that investment to me over the rest of my life would be infinitely more than the cost. Choosing to see value over cost is why I'm able to be here with you today, instead of honestly probably working some super unfulfilling job. So I hope this framework is able to help you get the most value out of your money as well. Next, framework number 3. This is one of the main reasons that one of the wealthiest men in the world today has the success that he does. I was actually just thinking about it recently when I was speaking with a coaching client, and what she said made me realize just how important these frameworks are. She had a big business goal that she wanted to hit by the time she turned 35. And she had built up all of these expectations about what her life was supposed to look like for her to be on track. So when her 35th birthday came around and she hadn't reached all her goals, she asked me, "What's wrong with me? What am I missing? Why am I so behind?" Have you ever felt that way? I know I have. But you know who doesn't think like that? Warren Buffett. One of my favorite stories about him is a conversation that he supposedly had with Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, another billionaire. Jeff asked him, if your investment philosophy is so simple, why don't more people do it? Warren said, because no one wants to get rich slow. The crazy thing is, as rich as Warren Buffett is now, he did not accumulate 99% of his wealth until after he turned 50. After 50. Apparently, he once said, "I always knew I was going to be rich." Plus, he was doing what he loved anyways, so it didn't matter to him when it came together. And that's how he was able to use time to help him succeed rather than hinder him. To use this framework for yourself, think about this. What would it look like to no longer let time be a limiter in your decision-making process? So the next time you don't hit a goal by a set date, which, and I say this with so much love, was probably made up anyways, you don't let it mean anything. It doesn't mean that you are behind or that you need to catch up. It just means that you didn't hit that goal by that date. When you do this, you stop doubting yourself. Plus, you can actually relax and enjoy your journey because you're no longer making yourself feel like a failure just because you didn't hit some arbitrary deadline. Instead, you're just doing your best and you're not giving up, which, and of course this is how life works, probably means you're going to end up hitting your goal and much faster too. That's how life-changing it can be when you change the frameworks you use for making decisions. But if you need any more convincing, let's talk about Jeff Bezos before he was Jeff Bezos. So rewind to when the internet was just taking off. He was conflicted. Should he go all in and bet it all on Amazon?
The Seattle-based e-tailer is the biggest store on the internet, a store that loses a lot more money than it makes.
His boss actually told him, "You know what, Jeff? I think Amazon is a really good idea, but it would be a much better idea for someone who didn't already have such a great job. Yet within just 48 hours, he'd made his decision, quitting that great job to bet it all on Amazon. What he did was he pictured himself at 80 years old and he asked himself, would I regret giving this a go? And his answer was a resounding no. In fact, he realized that he would regret it if he didn't give it a gamble. He wanted to have at least tried.
The one thing I might regret is not ever having tried. And I knew that that would haunt me.
And when he thought about it like that, his decision was easy. Jeff calls this his regret minimization framework. But try saying that 5 times fast. It's a mouthful.
What I called, which only a nerd would call, a regret minimization framework.
Instead, I think there's a much simpler way to think about this. Picture future you. They have accomplished everything that you want to do in life. Say, hey me, how did you get there? Then you just need to follow the advice that future you gave to current you. I truly believe that anyone can build their dream life and business if you're willing to do the work. But sometimes it feels almost taboo to talk about just how much work it actually takes. That's why in this next video, I'm pulling back the curtain on my own journey to making $1 million. If you're looking for proof that you are not behind, and in fact that you are probably right on track, I think you're gonna love this behind the scenes.